Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are having a great day. We have a lot of details to talk about regarding PLTR, regarding the markets, because right now we're seeing actually a good amount of buying pressure, some reversals across the board, especially in the AI stocks, after we have a big anticipation of some big company earnings that will have a big influence in terms of volatility. In addition, we are also sitting on the sidelines waiting for the Fed to make their decision regarding interest rates and what the probability of future interest rate cuts is going to be. That's going to be a big gauge and can also bring volatile times to the market here in the near future. Now, before we get too far, if you are a new or returning viewer, thank you guys so much for supporting a smaller content creator. Hit that like button and subscribe for daily videos. And of course, not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Now, we pop it up on screen here. Palantir Technologies closes here at $22.80. Not bad, especially after here. If we bring down this trend line, having a reversal at this critical support level at the $20, I think is incredibly important for PLTR's healthiness in terms of technical analysis. And right now, getting support and finding some consolidation above the 22s, I think is also incredibly important because it is breaching this neckline at this head and shoulders bearish technical pattern. And the anticipation of earnings that's going to be coming up here in just next week. We got 1 week left, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of things could be happening for PLTR. We're going to be talking about what to be looking for and also what the analysts are expecting PLTR to report in terms of another possible groundbreaking earnings. Now, quickly, we referenced this a little bit yesterday, but I want to quickly summarize it again. And I really agree with Morningstar here, talking about some of the most important key factors for next earnings in terms of getting prepared and what the actual outlook is looking like. Specifically, we're looking at billings, and this is going to get really a big gauge of Palantir's success, really working with how they are getting incorporated with artificial intelligence, not just in terms of their boot camps, but also staying true to their groundworks, which is their governmental contracts, and also getting into the commercial side of things with AIP. We have seen some bullish things across the board. You can see here Arnie on Twitter post that Palantir hosted an AIP bootcamp with over 30 organizations here in this bootcamp in Houston, talking about and accelerating their journey towards operational AI. This is great to see here. Palantir, and we've seen them come up before, saying that they are averaging about 5 AIP bootcamps per day. This really will help with the conversion rate of actually converting these to true paying clients, which of course help with revenue and help with the acceleration of PLTR's success. Now, customer additions, particularly in the commercial side of things. Just like last quarter, remember, we had those historical type earnings and we saw these large increases in the customer side of things, which in my opinion, I think is going to be a key catalyst that will continue to drive Palantir's success into that next level. Into when does Palantir have that NVIDIA type moment? When do we see that explosion take off past that $50 billion, past that $100 billion, as it accelerates and the market cap continues to increase? Now, like I said, governmental sales are still the bread and butter for PLTR. But now that we see their involvement into AIP, we're seeing the potential to how they can really extrapolate the data that they have to offer and with the software solutions that they have to offer for these clients. And right now, lots of companies are really chomping right at the line to try to get into the AI industry. You see this across the board that all these companies are putting AI on the top of their headlines, saying, hey, we have all these projects getting incorporated with AI, working on efficiency, productivity, and what we've seen is a very positive return on investment for a majority of these companies that do incorporate AI into their actual daily practices. And what this means is that this is really a win-win situation for PLTR. And the fact that the demand is increasing and the companies that are utilizing PLTR are also benefiting while PLTR is benefiting itself. Now, one big thing that we do need to acknowledge, we talk about this all the time, we see this down in the comments, is that valuation continues to be high. We understand this. Data Dispatch, we've analyzed this. We talk about this in every single video. Fair value estimates right now are at $16 compared on Morningstar. Where PLTR sits right now is at a premium, and we can't, that is just the fact. If you see PLTR right here, Right now, we have 7 earnings per share revisions in the bullish direction. And what the valuation really tells me what's happening intrinsically within the stock is that many investors and Wall Street, retail investors, the whole slew of the whole board is betting PLTR is going to have positive earnings in the future. And valuation is really a gauge, a barometer on what we think earnings will report in the future. And we're continuing to see bullishness across the board. So with PLTR, we're staying bullish. No matter what the valuation is right now, we do know it's high. I agree with that 100%, but I still think that this is going to be justified depending how earnings is going to report. Now, other things that we do need to understand is that really what the analysts are expecting, and that they're expecting that this company is going to continue growing. You can see right here with revenue that we're seeing here in the next 2 financial years, expecting an increase from 2.7 to 3.23 billion. And also, of course, with that profitability, with that 5 quarters now, possibly 6 coming up here, quarters of GAAP profitability, we could possibly see the S&P 500 inclusion, which I think is going to be a big bullish indicator for the stock and will help bring it more mainstream. Now, in addition, looking ahead and talking about these numbers that we're all getting kind of particularly focused in right now, what we're seeing with PLTR, expecting earnings per share 8 cents. Remember, earnings are going to be happening May 6th post-market. What we are seeing in terms of the general market and why I think we could see an acceleration here with PLTR, possibly getting here into the 24s, into the 25s, especially as earnings is creeping up, is because we're seeing a big full report of earnings across the board. And the S&P is really doing a good job right now and it's having a great start to its week. Also, in addition, we had Tesla that had a big launch of about 15% after they made some very critical announcements. And one big thing that we are going to be sitting on the sidelines for is when the Federal Reserve announces its latest policy decision this Wednesday. And right now, nobody's actually expecting the main interest rate to move. Right now, everybody is asking and wondering, when is the central bank going to offer some clues on when the first interest rates are yet to come? So this is actually important in terms of a bullish perspective and in terms of a short-term trading perspective, in my opinion, because right now the market's kind of pricing in the interest rates to remain stable. And if they're doing that right now, and we're still seeing an acceleration across the board with the S&P 500, we see a lot of these big indexes that are continuing to close in the green here. You can see you have S&P up 0.3%, NASDAQ up 0.2%, and even specifically in last week's Friday trade, still doing well. We're seeing some of the other top big stocks right now that are continuing to grow. And you see NVIDIA here making a really good recovery that came down here to the 760s, back to this 877 kind of support area that it's been hanging out. So it'll be really interesting to see how some of these big top blue chip stock companies are going to report their earnings. That's going to be a big thing. And also, this could have a big influence on PLTR. One interesting thing here that Amit posted, we kind of cover some of his stuff, another PLTR content creator, is that he is keeping track here of ARK Invest. As we know, Kathy Wood, ARK Invest is a big ETF fund that really tracks a lot of stocks that are basically working on disruptive technologies. And PLTR, I think, is a great example of a disruptive technology, getting in here, taking a lot of market share, being a leading competitor from some of these other big top stocks. Now, PLTR, Kathy Wood has still been continuing to accumulate PLTR, and you can see here 200,000 shares buying right here more before earnings. So what do some of these top investors know that we do not? And that is possibly some good key catalyst information going forward here. Now, Seeking Alpha, I get a lot of my data information from them. If you want to get a premium membership, I am actually an affiliate with them. Check out the link down in the description. You can get 20% off a membership. Other than that, we're going to be keeping an eye on the sidelines. Like I said, making a video every day, seeing kind of what changes we're seeing, not just in the market, but PLTR specifically. Looking at options, and especially here by the end of the week, we're seeing a lot of battles between the calls and the puts. So things could go either way. But right now, with the anticipation, I think PLTR is going to continue to trade in the positive direction, just due to what happened last earnings and what we even saw the earnings before. We're seeing these large gaps being created. Will we have this kind of light trading pattern that will be reciprocated, that will kind of show symmetry across these previous quarters? Or if for some reason, I think if PLTR were to have its first kind of bad quarter, we could see a good pullback and a correction. But right now, with all the positive news that we're seeing with PLTR, I'm just not seeing it as of yet. Peace out. Take care. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys later.